What came first, chicken or egg? God teaches. Humanity filters this, labels it good or bad. It has creativity and refuses to learn humility. Side effect: a learned behavior. Rules placed in mind to protect itself from what it perceives as bad. Language of perception. How we perceive the information taken in through the filter of rules. The mind has been given to stop us from learning what we don't want to know. The knowledge that what we do affects us as well as those we interact. While humanity is born with, man and women are born with, a soul, a spark of the divine, God placed something of himself in his creations, granting us his abilities. But knowledge must be earned to have value. The reason for this is obvious in what we did with our creations. Society, groups, what we inhabit, placing our spark in them. Once gone, someone must replace the spark, and that spark will never see what you do. Language of perception and learned behavior has done what God knew it would if we didn't learn humility. What has happened? God attempted to teach and succeeded. We added our own touch, have a soul. We can affect the outcome of anything we create. God understood. He had humility. The first lesson he sought to teach us: soul unrestrained leads to arrogance, sorrow to all around us, infecting even him. It's the hardest lesson to teach. You face an equal in abilities, knows your weaknesses, can warp your own efforts. Something we see in those that make great leaps in creativity. The only one you must work with as a partner. You've created the partner when you imparted the rules that is infested in society, doing what we told it to do. The rule was a simple one. I want. Working with others is good, but only if it gives me what I want. God would have me learn humility. To deny myself this, give me excuses to pick and choose. This created perception. Without it, there could be no shades of gray. What was one has become three, the original, and two that are illusion of good and evil. Learned behaviors is the rules put in place to compensate for the arrogance when endangers creativity, never realizing it's the first rule that was always the threat. It was an act of God that created pain, instilled fear, assigned value, good or bad. His act was not meant as any of these things. We did the rest. Society works well together when humility is highest. We cycle between two extremes, up above as below. God is perfect. You can't assign good or bad. The two is an illusion, so we can pick and choose what is imposed on us from outside. Now we have the threat created by us, the rule intending to keep us from seeing the truth. Creativity, free will, they are not good and bad. They are the same. Three names to label the soul. The spark from God that is not of the material world. While acts of God still happen, now we have humanity threatening us through society to impose order. Only one problem. In our arrogance, we fail to understand the rule would mean in times of arrogance, one could use what we created to create the Trinity on earth. Creativity and free will is rejected by many, but no one rejects soul. Learned perception confuses us to see one bad and other good. One must be crushed. Other is what soul wants. But God only gives you what you need, not what you want. All along, what we wanted was certainty. Act of God created chaos. It's fear of that triggers the rule. Some use this to attempt crushing what they don't like. Today, we have many labels, all basically the same, to hide from the reality. There is only one when we need two. Soul itself is chaos. It can affect the outcome. Many souls, all having a path God set them on. From the moment soul finds possibilities, from families to relationships, ending in society or groups, they all impose rules from the outside to set good and evil. We were only to teach the young right and wrong, not attempt strangling the outside force that is soul. Soul can't be overcome or defeated. You can break the body, damage the mind. Soul must surrender to the lie that there is three when always it's been two. How do I know this? Seeds are everywhere, from words in scripture to science, all hidden, but in humility, depending how loose your own rules are, you can make a leap. What God always intended, we have 5 outward senses. Those can create 2 more. The rule imposed on us, all through attrition, now in society, is to ignore soul. Hide it in mist, we look without. All problems are without. All solutions must be found there as well. Only those with free will and creativity can reach the point that it creates the 2, that makes us know what we all desire to know. There is more than this world. You can't know it unless you bring soul back to one. One will always rise to the heights of society to attempt what God would never do: kill themselves. They want followers, will remove any that will not worship them, as the body serves mind and soul. The Trinity within is what the arrogant attempt, using society to create without. But it's never a success, because in all the turmoil they create, always a few strong will not break. Chaos will eventually create what God has always attempted. Now we are doing it to ourselves. Even though God still has natural disasters, they are a threat, a localized, where the mind that has crushed its own soul, lining it with chains, comes from no one knows. They can deceive, it's all around. It's not evil. It just has their soul so entangled in illusion it's unable to see possibilities. The one thing that started creativity and free will, the manifestations of soul that only isolate what they like and others fear. A riddle in a riddle, layered puzzles, all this imposed on us, and because the first rule was in place, a few can access their own creativity successfully. Only a strong soul can make the leap, stand up to all the resistance in groups and society to embrace the path God gave it. Will tell the arrogant and fearful they are willing to let God judge. The strong are willing to accept God's judgment based on who they are, not a promised guarantee of a reward. Do you have the strength of your convictions to allow me to be judged by God? This is what I believe is right. You are free to take what you like. Discard the rest. I encourage you to challenge yourself. Your soul will ask the mind to explain. That is how it was always meant to be. Unshackle the rule within you. I'm unsure the rule can ever be removed in society, but it doesn't mean the effort is futile. This is only the first step of a journey. Many in society would have you believe we are the pinnacle. With humility, you realize you're in preschool, not yet at the first rung of a long journey.